Welcome back to our channel, Mavericks. Today we're comparing Square and PayPal to find out which one of these massive online payments and mobile payments companies is best for your business. As we know, PayPal kind of started as the innovator of online payments with its partnership with eBay and just PayPal buttons everywhere. I mean, you've seen them during checkout whenever you buy products. And Square started in 2009 as a mobile payments provider where you've seen that little white square that you plug into your phone and you can swipe a credit card. Both of them have really grown into a bigger product ecosystem, and so their offerings are much bigger now, and depending on what your particular environment is, one might be better than the other. And so beginning with products and services, the real challenge here is that, as I mentioned, both PayPal and Square have really expanded their product and service set. They're touching everything these days. I mean, they're lenders now, they have full-fledged point-of-sale systems, booking software, restaurant management, a ton of stuff. But for the sake of this video, we're gonna break it down into three separate areas, like mobile payments or mobile point of sale, online payments, invoicing, and virtual terminals. We'll look at each area and find out which one of these providers excels in that specific segment. So starting with mobile point of sale, both Square and PayPal offer everything that you could ask for from a very standard point of sale system. If you want to accept credit cards on your phone, if you want to accept credit cards on your tablet, whether it's an iOS or an Android-based device, you can do so without any problems. PayPal offers compatibility with some Windows-based devices, but it's a very limited amount. For the most of you, the iOS and the Android compatibility will be plenty. You can swipe cards if you want, you can do the chip and pin, you can key in transactions, you can run inventory, you can manage inventory, you can scan barcodes and create SKUs, you can run receipts if you want. But if you're looking for a more feature-fledged or a full-fledged point-of-sale system, I would say that Square beats PayPal in that regard, where Square's POS has a little bit more of a in-depth inventory management system and offers offline mode so that if you're on the go, you don't have internet access, you'll be able to process credit cards without any trouble. Also, in addition to Square's basic mobile point of sale system, they have some premium options like Square Register and Square for Retail and Square for Restaurants, which really encompass every type of business environment that you could think of, whether it's a retail location, if you're running a full restaurant and you need restaurant management, if you're looking for a more in-depth and robust point of sale system, Square is the winner here. Moving on to online payments, we all know that PayPal has been dominating that space for years, and it's still doing so. If I was to choose an online payment processor, I would still go with PayPal because it's one of the most widely accepted forms of payment online. Whereas Square, because they started as a mobile payments processor, they haven't fully developed their online platform. You can't create Square buy now buttons that you can add to pretty much anywhere the way that you can with PayPal. So I would say that PayPal edges Square out in this regard. With that said, Square is trying to increase their footprint in the online space. They recently purchased an online shopping cart called Weebly, and so they're growing. But if I was to choose an online payment platform and that was exclusively what I wanted to do, I would have to go with PayPal just because of all the options that they offer with the PayPal buttons and whatnot. And looking at invoicing and virtual terminal, both of those are really basic, and both Square and PayPal offer a great option for either of those. If you're really looking for just standard invoicing and a standard virtual terminal, I would say that these guys are pretty much even when it comes to that category. In looking at some other features, both Square and PayPal are getting into the developer payment space. In other words, they're building APIs and software developer kits that allow website developers to integrate payments into their platforms. So whether you want to add in-app purchase ability to your iOS application, or you run, say, an Airbnb type platform and you want to integrate payments into your platform, then that's where an SDK and an API would come into play. This is an area that's historically been dominated by Stripe and Braintree. Braintree is actually a PayPal subsidiary, but Square is relatively new in this space. Both of them have great APIs and software developer kits, so you really can't go wrong with using either one of them. Both Square and PayPal have recently gotten into the merchant financing space, where they're effectively becoming business lenders and banks to their merchants. So if you're a PayPal customer or if you're a Square customer and you're processing transactions with them, chances are you can get a loan from them, and they'll be able to really give you an idea of how much you can borrow based on what your transactions are, lowering the risk for everyone. Both options are great. I would say that in some cases it might not be a good fit to go with either Square or PayPal, so you might want to check out some of our small business loan reviews on our website. We'll drop a link in the bio so you can take a look at that. Both companies offer a whole suite of reporting and analytics tools, everything that you'll really need to keep an eye on your sales, your inventory, and keep track of your business and to help improve on a regular basis. Moving on to our next comparison section, integrations and add-ons. Both of these companies have invested heavily into creating an ecosystem where they integrate with third-party applications. So for example, if you want to integrate PayPal with your accounting software, QuickBooks, or Xero, if you want to integrate Square with, say, booking software like Acuity Scheduling, they've both developed a very big ecosystem of third-party applications and integrations. But Square, as opposed to PayPal, has really focused on building add-ons that are internal as well. And what I mean by that is, if you wanted some sort of a booking feature, if you're, say, a hair salon, and you need to schedule appointments for your clients and you need a booking and scheduling app, whereas PayPal would integrate with something like Acuity Scheduling. Square not only integrates with Acuity Scheduling, but they also have a Square branded add-on that you can use. So you can either keep everything under the same roof and stay with Square and expand by using add-ons, or you can use integrations and connect your third-party applications to your payments platform. In this regard, I would say that Square is the winner, because not only are they offering a ton of integrations, they're also building their own add-ons like booking, restaurant management, online ordering, and a whole bunch of other ones. Moving on to contract length and cancellation, the best thing about PayPal and Square is that both of them are no obligation services. So what that means is you can walk away at any time without having to face any sort of early termination fee. You can use it or stop using it whenever you want. Both companies win in the contract length and cancellation department. When it comes to sales and advertising transparency, both of these companies are really great about being upfront about what they charge on a monthly basis, on a per transaction basis. There are no frills, no scams. Everything is listed on the PayPal website. Everything is listed on the Square website. So you walk away knowing that you're getting what you expected to get from the get-go. In the customer service and technical support department, I'm gonna say that neither of these guys are gonna win any medals, really. I mean, they are such large companies that they're dealing with such an inflow of customer support requests that chances are they're gonna drop the ball on quite a few of these. But the best way to really interact with these guys is that they have a ton of information on their website for do-it-yourselfers. So it's a knowledge base that you can find on PayPal or a frequently asked questions page on Square. If you can troubleshoot the problem yourself, then odds are you'll be able to find the answer. I think both of them could be doing a much better job of being very clear about the types of businesses that they accept and they don't accept, because we've heard a ton of complaints about accounts getting held, accounts getting frozen and shut down. So for them to do a little bit more upfront to make sure that they're not onboarding businesses that will later seem high risk to them, that would require a shutdown or a merchant account fund hold, would be a big plus for both companies. Both Square and PayPal have very similar offerings when it comes to fees and rates. PayPal for swiped, dipped, or tapped transactions will be 2.7%, whereas for Square, it'll be 2.75%. Now that 0.05% is very negligible if you're processing at a low volume. But for businesses that are higher volume, obviously those fees can add up. But higher volume businesses, from what I understand, also have more negotiating leverage and would be able to negotiate their fees down with either PayPal or Square. When it comes to online transactions, both PayPal and Square have the same cost, 2.9% plus 30 cents a transaction. If you want to key in a credit card, it'll cost you the same for both PayPal and Square, 3.5% plus 15 cents a transaction. As you can see, both Square and PayPal offer very similar prices. If you want to add on stuff like, I don't know, a point of sale system, an e-commerce platform, of course that's going to cost you more. And if you want a full breakdown of their fees and rates, check out our in-depth Square and PayPal comparison on our website, and you'll find the link in our bio below. In looking at user reviews and complaints, and here we're talking about people that have actually used PayPal and Square, the biggest complaint that we're seeing for both of these guys is what I mentioned earlier about the merchant account holds and the freezes and the shutting down of accounts. Now, the reason for that obviously is, one, they make it so easy for you to sign up ahead of time that they don't really vet you, so they don't know whether as a business owner you're high risk or you don't fall within their rules. And then once you sign up, you start processing transactions, you trigger some sort of a red flag, and then all of a sudden they shut your account down and they hold your money. If they were a little bit more in depth or were able to screen their users a little bit better and deny high-risk business owners, then chances are the number of those complaints would come down. But we also need to look at the fact that these are massive, massive companies, and most people are generally more inclined to complain about something than they are to praise it. So naturally, for big companies, you're always going to see a ton of complaints. But if we look at the positive side, what we're seeing is that most merchants love Square for the ecosystem, for the fact that they have all of these add-ons and all these features under the same roof, that Square has given so many businesses the ability to accept payments on the go that they couldn't have done otherwise. So it has taken a ton of what we call micro merchants that used to accept cash at some sort of festival, and now they can accept a credit card because of Square. And then in looking at PayPal, PayPal users love the fact that it's so easy to accept online payments. All they have to do is just create an online payment button with PayPal and add it to their website, whether it's a craft-based website or whatever it is that you might be selling. So there are definitely major positives to both Square and PayPal. We always hear about the negative reviews and we always hear about the complaints, but to shed some light on the positive side, there's a ton to like about both Square and PayPal. So as our final verdict, we pick Square as the overall winner, but depending on your specific scenario, it makes sense to either go with Square or with PayPal. If you want a really retail-based point of sale system with a ton of features, if you want to accept payments on the go with a great point of sale app on your phone, then Square is the winner. If you're trying to accept online payments and you want to integrate a PayPal button or a buy now button into your website, then it makes more sense to go with the widely available and the more popular online payments platform of PayPal. If you want a more detailed review of both Square and PayPal, check out the links in our bio of our in-depth reviews of both Square and PayPal and a more detailed write-up comparing them head to head. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to our channel.